Angry protests in Ukraine erupted into clashes with both police and protesters firing tear gas and pepper spray at each other. Tens of thousands took part in rallies after Kiev backtracked on signing an association agreement with the European Union. That's as jailed ex-Prime Minister Yulia Timoshenko has announced a hunger strike in support of an EU deal. RT's Alexei joins us live now from Kiev. Hello to you, Alexei. Well, you've been in the midst of those protests all this time, so what are we expecting today?
Well, the protests are continuing. They stayed overnight despite it's getting very, very cold in the Ukrainian capital. We're certainly expecting the protests to continue. Right now, both the squares where the protests are taking place are not so crowded. But last night we saw how, after working hours finished, thousands came here. My bet was about 30,000 people here at the European Square. And it wasn't a very peaceful protest. One minor incident, one minor provocation led to clashes with the police. Tear gas was used. I was standing literally meters away from it. And the crowd was, in fact, very, very angry. Until the police left, it was still very tense. We didn't know where it would go. And we are expecting pretty much the same happen today. We are also expecting protests in front of the government building, and the people here are seemingly determined to stay until the end of the week and to see whether there's any hope that the Euro Association, the free trade zone agreement with the European Union would be signed. We also know that their leader, the leader of the opposition, the jailed former Prime Minister Yulia Timoshenko, has declared an unconditional hunger strike in support of the signing of the Euro Association deal.
Well, we also know at this point that the EU said that the offer to Kiev remains open. So what are the chances, of all that's happening right now in Ukraine, what are the chances that Ukraine will sign this deal after all?
You know, you can never say anything for certain when it comes to Ukrainian politics, but as it stands, it seems that there is no chance absolutely that Ukraine will sign this deal. On Monday, Ukrainian Foreign Minister Mr. Kajara said that Ukraine was not ready to sign this association agreement. Earlier before that, the Prime Minister also was very critical of the International Monetary Fund, which said he would not provide a stabilization loan for the country. Mr. Azarov said that the country doesn't need handouts like these when it means practically destroying the country's economy. Indeed, the reasons for not signing this deal are too serious. Possible modernization of Ukrainian factories costing $100 billion, which the country cannot afford. Possible closure of these factories with tens of thousands finding themselves in the streets. All this contributes to the decision by the government not to sign the deal. And as it stands, they will not be signing it. But again, we have to wait and see until Friday this week, until the summit in Vilnius, to see whether Ukraine will actually refuse to sign the free trade agreement with the European Union.
Right, Alexei, thanks very much for bringing us this update from the Ukrainian capital, Kiev. Alexei there. Now, the EU has accused Moscow of blackmailing Ukraine out of signing a deal. The European Commission and the European Council stressed that the offer for Kiev remains open. However, experts say the EU won't be able to support Ukraine if it concludes an agreement with the Union.
The European Union really isn't in a very good financial situation. Ukraine needs to have a competitive economy, but if it enters into agreement with the European Union, EU rules would make the economy less competitive. It would mean less economic growth. It would mean higher unemployment. So any money would be only to offset the damage that the European Union would actually do to Ukraine if there was an agreement. Now, of course, the European Union doesn't really have any money to be lending out because it has its own severe debt crises.
We are closely following the events unfolding in Ukraine. And there's more on our website, of course, for all the photos and videos from the scene. You can head there to rt.com.